Okay. Wow. Well, during this live stream, y'all, you may hear your car horns in the background. I've been hearing them for like an hour. The local high schools just graduated today. So there's a lot of blowing. You'll hear the sounds of horns. Hopefully it may be over now because it was well over an hour ago. And I'm telling you, for like the last, I would say from around 2 o'clock all the way up until now, it was just a sea of car horns you were hearing and people driving past. So you may still hear it a little. I'm just alerting you. Shalom to everybody in the chat. So we're just going to give it a few more minutes to allow people to come in. Let me see if I can get some music on. All right. All right. All right. So it's quite noisy. There's a lot of loud music playing too. So that's all you're hearing. All right. So here we go. All right, y'all. I got booted out. So anybody that came in the chat and I did not see you, shalom to everybody. We're going to get on topic, but just to get a little off topic. Well, hi, Loretta. How you doing, girl? Trump is in Tulsa to have his first rally since everything locked down for coronavirus. And many of you may know that 6 people of his campaign team tested positive for COVID-19. You know, look, he was trying to have this rally on Juneteenth. So much for that, right? I guess at the end of the day, the Most High has the final say in everything. Yeah, 6 people. That's why I'm like, you can't tell me Trump don't have this. You can't. He's been exposed to people at the White House with it. Now he's in Tulsa around people that have this, but we're supposed to believe he don't have it. Come on. That is not even possible. It's not even possible. But I just thought that was something when I saw that come up. It came up just before I logged in to start the live stream that 6 people on Trump's campaign staff are positive for COVID-19. And remember, he wanted to have this on Juneteenth. Never say prayers are not answered, y'all. Never say they're not answered. You know, he plans a lot of that stuff on purpose. You got to look at the pattern of Trump. You know, if you all remember, he had the Navajo Indians up at the White House, and he had Andrew Jackson in the backdrop as they spoke at the podium. You could see Andrew Jackson. He did that mess on purpose. To him, that's funny. Putting the very person that slaughtered their forefathers in the background as they spoke. And trust me, I don't care how much they claim this was just a coincidence. I don't believe them. Okay. And now we got this resurgence of every high IQ corporation out here want to make Juneteenth a holiday. We don't need Juneteenth to be a holiday. We need reparations. Okay. We don't need Juneteenth to be a holiday. Many of us recognize Juneteenth for many years on our own, you know, but it's anything just so they don't have to do something really significant for us. So yeah, they'll do these little remedial things because it means nothing at the end of the day. It means nothing. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started. The Testament of Joseph. Joseph, ladies and gentlemen, was the 11th son out of the 12 tribes. And it's really good. I think I like all the testaments. And one thing I can honestly say, we're going to meet our forefathers in the kingdom. We're going to meet Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all 12 tribes. They're all going to be there. So we will actually see these forefathers once this Gentile world is over. We're going to see all of them. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started. Wrong one. Okay. Hold on here. Okay, almost there. Here we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, ladies and gentlemen. All right, before I do that. Okay, look good. Okay. All right. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
The Testament of Joseph, the 11th son of Jacob and Rachel. The copy of the Testament of Joseph. When he was about to die, he called his sons and his brethren together and said to them, "My brethren and my children, hearken to Joseph, the beloved of Israel. Give ear, my sons, unto your father. I have seen in my life envy and death, yet I went not astray, but preserved in the truth of Yahweh. These my brethren hated me, but Yahweh loved me. They wished to slay me, but the God of my fathers guarded me. They let me down into a pit, and the Most High brought me up again. I was sold into slavery, and Yahweh of all made me free. I was taken into captivity, and his strong hand succored me. I was beset with hunger, and Yahweh himself nourished me. I was alone, and Yahweh comforted me. I was sick, and Yahweh visited me. I was in prison, and my God showed favor unto me. In bonds, and he released me. Slandered, and he pleaded my cause. Bitterly spoken against by the Egyptians, and he delivered me. Envied by my fellow slaves, and he exalted me. And this chief captain of Pharaoh entrusted to me his house. And I struggled against a shameless woman, urging me to transgress with her. But the God of Israel, my father, delivered me from the burning flame. I was cast into prison. I was beaten. I was mocked. But Yahweh granted me to find mercy in the sight of the keeper of the prison. For Yahweh doth not forsake them that fear him, neither in darkness, nor in bonds, nor in tribulations, nor in necessities. For Yahweh is not put to shame as a man, nor as the Son of Man is he afraid, nor as one that is earthborn is he weak or affrighted. But in all those things doth he give protection, and in divers ways doth he comfort, though for a little space he departeth to try the inclination of the soul. And 10 temptations he showed me approved, and in all of them I endured, for endurance is a mighty charm, and patience giveth many good things. How often did the Egyptian woman threaten me with death? How often did she give me over to punishment and then call me back and threaten me? And when I was unwilling to company with her, she said to me, "Thou shalt be Lord of me, and all that is in my house, if thou wilt give thyself unto me, and thou shalt be as our master." But I remembered the words of my father, and going into my chamber, I wept and prayed unto Yahweh. And I fasted in those 7 years, and I appeared to the Egyptians as one living delicately. For they that fast for Yahweh's sake receive beauty of face. And if Yahweh were away from home, I drank no wine, nor for 3 days did I take my food, but I gave it to the poor and sick. And I sought Yahweh early, and I wept for the Egyptian woman of Memphis, for very unceasingly did she trouble me. For also at night she came to me under pretense of visiting me. And because she had no male child, she pretended to regard me as a son. And for a time she embraced me as a son, and I knew it not. But later she sought to draw me into fornication. And when I perceived it, I sorrowed unto death. And when she had gone out, I came to myself and lamented for her many days, because I recognized her guile and her deceit. And I declared unto her the words of the Most High, if haply she would turn from her evil lust. Often, therefore, did she flatter me with words as a holy man, and guilefully in her talk praised my chastity before her husband, while desiring to ensnare me when we were alone. For she lauded me openly as chaste, and in secret she said unto me, "Fear not, my husband, for he is persuaded concerning thy chastity. For even should one tell him concerning us, he would not believe." Owings to all these things, I lay upon the ground and besought Yahweh would deliver me from her deceit. And when she had prevailed nothing thereby, she came again to me under the plea of instruction, that she might learn the word of Yahweh. And she said unto me, "If thou willest that I should leave my idols, lie with me, and I will persuade my husband to depart from his idols, and we will walk in the law by Yahweh." And I said unto her, "Yahweh willeth not that those who reverence him should be in uncleanness, nor doth he take pleasure in them that commit adultery, but in those that approach him with a pure heart and undefiled lips." But she hid her peace, longing to accomplish her evil desire. And I gave myself yet more to fasting and praying, that Yahweh might deliver me from her. And again, at another time, she said unto me, "If thou wilt not commit adultery, I will kill my husband by poison and take thee to be my husband." I, therefore, when I heard this, rent my garments, and said unto her, Woman, reverence Yahweh, and do not this evil deed, lest thou be destroyed. For know indeed that I will declare this thy device unto all men. She therefore, being afraid, besought that I would not declare this device. And she departed, soothing me with gifts, sending to me every delight of the sons of men. And afterwards she sent me food mingled with enchantments. And when the eunuch who brought it came, I looked up and beheld a terrible man giving me with the dish a sword. And I perceived that her scheme was to beguile me. And when he had gone out, I wept, nor did I taste that or any other of her food. So then after one day she came to me and observed the food, and said unto me, Why is it that thou hast not eaten of the food? And I said unto her, It is because thou hast filled it with deadly enchantments. And how sayest thou, I come not near to idols, but to Yahweh alone? Now, therefore, know that Yahweh of my father hath revealed unto me by his angel thy wickedness, and I have kept it to convict thee, if haply thou mayest see and repent, but that thou mayest learn that the wickedness of the ungodly hath no power over them that worship Yahweh with chastity. Behold, I will take off it and eat before thee. And having said so, I prayed thus, The God of my fathers and the angel of Abraham be with me, and ate. And when she saw this, she fell upon her face at my feet, weeping, and raised her up, I, and admonished her. And she promised to do this iniquity no more. But her heart was still set upon evil, and she looked around how to ensnare me. And sighing deeply, she became downcast, though she was not sick. And when her husband saw her, he said unto her, Why is thy countenance fallen? And she said unto him, I have a pain at my heart, and the groanings of my spirit oppress me. And so he comforted her, who was not sick. Then accordingly, seizing an opportunity, she rushed unto me while her husband was yet without, and said unto me, I will hang myself or cast myself over a cliff if thou wilt not lie with me. And when I saw the spirit of Beliar was troubling her, I prayed unto Yahweh and said unto her, Why, wretched woman, art thou troubled and disturbed, blinded through sins? Remember that if thou killest thyself, as still the concubine of thy husband, thy rival, will beat thy children, and thou wilt destroy thy memorial from off the earth. And she said unto me, Lo, then thou lovest me. Let this suffice me. Only strive for my life and my children, and I expect that I shall enjoy my desire also. But she knew not because of Yahweh I spoke thus, and not because of her. For if a man hath fallen before the passion of a wicked desire and become enslaved by it, even as she, whatever good thing he may hear with regard to that passion, he receiveth it with a view to his wicked desire. I declare, therefore, unto you, my children, that it was about the 6th hour when she departed from me, and I knelt before Yahweh all day and all the night. And about dawn I rose up, weeping the while and praying for a release from her. At last, then she laid hold of my garments, forcibly dragging me to her connection with her. When therefore I saw that in her madness she was holding fast at my garment, I left it behind and fled away naked. And holding fast to the garment, she falsely accused me. And when her husband came, he cast me into prison in his house. And on the morrow, he scourged me and sent me into Pharaoh's prison. And when I was in bonds, the Egyptian woman was oppressed with grief. She came and heard how I gave thanks unto Yahweh and sang praises in the abode of darkness. and with glad voice rejoiced, glorifying Yahweh that I was derived and delivered from the lustful desire of the Egyptian woman. And often hath she sent unto me, saying, consent to fulfill my desire, and I will release thee from thy bonds, and I will flee thee from the darkness. And not even in thought did I incline unto her. For Yahweh loveth him who in a den of wickedness combines fasting with chastity, rather than the man who in king's chambers combines luxury with license. And if a man liveth in chastity and desireth also glory, and the Most High knoweth that it is expedient for him, he bestoweth this also upon me. How often, though she were sick, did she come down to me at unlooked for times and listen to my voice as I prayed. And when I heard her groanings, I held my peace. For when I was in her house, she was wont to bare her arms and breasts and legs that I might lie with her. For she was very beautiful, splendid, adorned, in order to beguile me. And Yahweh guarded me from her devices. Yea, see, therefore, my children, how great things patience worketh, and prayer with fasting. So ye too, if ye follow after chastity and purity with patience and prayer, with fasting and humility of heart, Yahweh will dwell among you, because he loveth chastity. And wheresoever the Most High dwelleth, even though envy or slavery or slander befalleth a man, Yahweh who dwelleth in him for the sake of his chastity, not only delivereth him from evil, but also exalteth him even as me. For in every way the man is lifted up, whether in deed or in word or in thought. My brethren, know how my Father loved me. And yet I did not exalt myself in my mind, although I was a child. I had the fear of Yahweh in my heart, for I knew that all things would pass away. And I did not raise myself against them with evil intent. But I honored my brethren, and out of respect for them, even when I was being sold, I refrained from telling the Ishmaelites that I was a son of Jacob, a great man and a mighty one. Do ye also, my children, have the fear of Yahweh in all your works before your eyes, and honor your brethren. For everyone who doeth the law of Yahweh shall be loved by him. And when I came to the Enducalopitit with the Ishmaelites, they asked me, saying, art thou a slave? And I said that I was a homeborn slave, that I might not put my brethren to shame. And the eldest of them said unto me, thou art not a slave, for even thy appearance doth make it manifest. But I said that I was their slave. Now when we came into Egypt, they strove concerning me, which of them should buy me and take me. Therefore it seemed good to all that I should remain in Egypt with the merchant of their trade, until they should return bringing merchandise. And Yahweh gave me favor in the eyes of the merchant, and he entrusted unto me his house. And Yahweh blessed him by my means, and increased him in gold and silver and in household servants. And I was with him 3 months and 5 days. And about that time, the Memphian woman, the wife of Pintrophis, came down in a chariot with great pomp, because she had heard from her eunuchs concerning me. And she told her husband that the merchant had become rich by means of a young Hebrew, and they say that he had assuredly been stolen out of the land of Canaan. Now, therefore, render justice unto him, and take away the youth to thy house, so shall the God of Hebrews bless thee, for grace from heaven is upon him. And Pintrophis was persuaded by her words, and commanded the merchant to be brought, and said unto him, what is this that I hear concerning thee, that thou stealest persons out of the land of Canaan, and sellest them for slaves? But the merchant fell at his feet and besought him, saying, I beseech thee, my lord, I know not what thou sayest. And Pentraphus said unto him, Whence then is the Hebrew slave? And he said, The Ishmaelites entrusted him unto me until they should return. But he believed him not, but commanded him to be stripped and beaten. And when he persisted in the statement, Pentraphus said, Let the youth be brought. And when I was brought in, I did obeisance to Pentraphus, for he was third in rank of the officers of Pharaoh. And he took me apart from him and said unto me, Art thou a slave or free? And I said, A slave. And when he said, Whose? And I said, The Ishmaelites. And he said, How? How did thou become their slave? And I said, They bought me out of the land of Canaan. And he said unto me, Truly thou liest. And straightway he commanded me to be stripped and beaten. Now the Memphis woman was looking through a window at me while I was being beaten, for her house was near. And she sent unto him, saying, Thy judgment is unjust, for thou dost punish a free man who hath been stolen, and though he were a transgressor. And when I made no change in my statement, though I was beaten, he ordered me to be in prison until he said the owners of the boy should come. And the woman said unto her husband, Wherefore dost thou detain the captive and well-born lad in bonds, who art rather to be set at liberty and be waited upon? For she wished to see me out of desire to sin. But I was ignorant concerning all these things. And he said to her, It is not the custom of the Egyptians to take that which belongeth to others before proof is given. This therefore he said concerning the merchant, but as for the lad, he must be in prison. Now after 24 days came the Ishmaelites, for they had heard that Jacob my father was mourning much concerning me. And they came and said unto me, How is it that thou sayest that thou was a slave? And lo, we have learnt that thou art the son of a mighty man in the land of Canaan, and thy father still mourneth for thee in sackcloth and ashes. When I heard this, my bowels were dissolved, and my heart melted, and I desired greatly to weep, but I restrained myself that I should not put my brethren to shame. And I said unto them, I know not, I am a slave. Then therefore they took counsel to sell me, that I should not be found in their hands. For they feared my father, lest he should come and execute upon them a grievous vengeance. For they heard that he was mighty with Yahweh and with men. Then said the merchant unto them, Release me from the judgment of Pentraphus. And they came and requested me, saying, Say that thou wast bought by us with money, and he will set us free. Now the Memphian woman said to her husband, Buy the youth. For I hear, said she, that they are selling him. And straightway she sent a eunuch to the Ishmaelites and asked them to sell me. But since the eunuch would not agree to buy me at their price, he returned, having made trial of them, and made known to his mistress that they asked a large price for their slave. And she sent another eunuch, saying, Even though they demand 2 minas, give them, do not spare the gold, only buy the boy and bring him to me. The eunuch therefore went and gave them 80 pieces of gold, and he received me. But the Egyptian woman, he said, I have given 100. And though I knew this, I held my peace, lest the eunuch should be put to shame. You see, therefore, my children, what great things I endured, that I should not put my brethren to shame. Do ye also, therefore, love one another, and with long suffering hide ye one another's faults. For Yahweh delighteth in the unity of brethren, and in the purpose of a heart that takes pleasure in love. And when my brethren came into Egypt, they learned that I had returned their money unto them, and upbraided them not, and in comfort them. And after the death of Jacob, my father, I loved them more abundantly, and all things whatsoever he commanded, I did very abundantly for them. And I suffered them not to be afflicted in the smallest matter. And all that was in my hand I gave unto them. And their children were my children, and my children as their servants, and their life was my life. and all their suffering was my suffering, and all their sickness was my infirmity. My land was their land, and their counsel my counsel. And I exalted not myself among them in arrogance, because of my worldly glory. But I was among them as one of the least. If ye also therefore walk in the commandments of Yahweh, my children, he will exalt you there, and will bless you with good things forever and ever. And if anyone seeketh to do evil unto you, do well unto him, and pray for him, and ye shall be redeemed of Yahweh from all evil. For behold, ye see that out of my humility and long suffering I took unto wife the daughter of the priest of Heliopolis, and 100 talents of gold were given me with her. And Yahweh made them to serve me. And he gave me also beauty as a flower beyond the beautiful ones of Israel. And he preserved unto me old age and strength and beauty, because I was like in all things to Jacob. And hear ye, my children, also the vision which I saw. There were 12 hearts feeding, and the 9 were first dispersed all over the earth. And likewise also the 3. And I saw that from Judah was born a virgin wearing a linen garment, and from her was born a lamb without spot, and on his left hand there was as it were a lion, and all the beasts rushed against him, and the lion overcame them and destroyed them and trod them underfoot. And because of him, the angels and men rejoice in all the land. And these things shall come to pass in their season, in the last days. Do ye therefore, my children, observe the commandments of Yahweh, and honor Levi and Judah, for from them shall arise unto you the Lamb of Yahweh, who taketh away the sin of the world, one who saveth all the Gentiles and Israel. For his kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, which shall not pass away. But my kingdom among you shall come to an end as a watcher's hammock, which after the summer disappeareth. For I know that after my death the Egyptians will afflict you, but Yahweh will avenge you, and will bring you into that which he promised to your fathers. But ye shall carry up my bones with you. For when my bones are being taken up thither, Yahweh shall be with you in light, and Beliar shall be in darkness with the Egyptians. And carry ye up Asenath, your mother, to the hippodrome, and near Rachel, your mother, bury her. And when he had said these things, he stretched out his feet and died at a good old age. And all Israel mourned for him, and all Egypt with a great mourning. And when the children of Israel went out of Egypt, they took with them the bones of Joseph, and they buried him in Hebron with his fathers. And the years of his life were 110 years.
All right, y'all. That was a good book. I really enjoyed that. But if you remember, one of the things that it said in the Bible, it talked about what a good looking man Joseph was. They said Joseph was very attractive. So, I see the Egyptian woman lusting for him. I'm sure many women lusted for him, but I think she took it like a step too far. But we still see that same lustfulness in people even to this day, especially if they see someone attractive. But, I like the Testaments because it lets you see how real and how human and some of the flaws that even our forefathers had and things they had to overcome. So, I think that's what I enjoy the most. You know, they're very much like we were and like we still are today. I see a lot of some of their flaws in myself. All right, so this concludes our time together this week. Y'all, I thank each and every one of you for coming every week. Some of you are very consistent about being here, and I deeply appreciate that. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been in Hebrew groups and I've seen some fall apart and fizzle out because of a lot of infighting. And we haven't had a lot of that here. There's been some, but not to the point where it has spiraled out of control. And I really do appreciate that a lot. So, ladies and gentlemen, may the Most High be with you always during this time of judgment on the Gentile world. May he fulfill all of your needs, keep you sheltered, keep you fed until the time of the Gentile is once and forever over. And we become the head and they become the tail. And on that, ladies and gentlemen, Shabbat Shalom. Peace, family.